So I am pumped beyond belief right now because 33 books just showed up from CGC. And it's honestly been a pretty long time since I sent these books in, and I don't really recall what it is that I submitted, but we are going to unbox it in this video. Reggie here, your friendly neighborhood bodybuilder and comic book collector, and I want to welcome you to another one of my videos. In this video, we are going to unbox some books that I sent in to CGC. And I will tell you that my earliest shipment to CGC was on 1/5 of this year. And I don't think that these are the earliest books that I sent in, but I remain hopeful that all of my books will make their way back to me. But in this video, we are going to look at 33 of them that I sent in that have come back. And the vast majority of these books will actually be made available on my website, regiecollects.com. With that said, let's get to the books. And I know people are going to ask me some of the details about these books, and I'm going to be honest, I don't remember. I can't remember how I may have sent them in, whether they were pre-screens. I honestly don't remember some of those details because I have been employing the send it in and forget about it approach for a while now, so I don't remember the details. It looks like at least one book was rejected. So if you send books in for pre-screen and the books don't meet that pre-screen thresholds, CGC will not grade that book and they will send it back to you. And basically what this says is raw books between cardboard. And as I look in there, I see at least one book that is in there that they did send back to me. So that is a reject, which is actually okay. And maybe it'll occur to me what the thresholds was for some of these as I go through them. But this first one is actually not a 9.8, so I probably know that the pre-screen wasn't at that. This is a 9.6, and it is a Joker appearance. And I also want to say it's like a early appearance of one of the Robins. Off the top of my head, I cannot remember. I want to say it's one of the Robins. This is a 9.6 with white pages. This is Batman 408. And this book did come out of the 100K collection. And as a reminder, that is not the amount of money that I paid for it. It is the number of books that were contained within. And there's another copy of that, also a 9.6. I guess I should at least take it out of the plastic. 9.6 right there. And I cannot remember whether I had CGC press these. I want to say yes, but again, memory fails me on some of this stuff. This next one is a cool book right from my childhood. This one was also found in the 100K collection. This is Ghost Rider Volume 2, issue number 31, and this is the Midnight Suns. Again, really awesome book right there that may have some significance down the road here if the whole Blade thing leads to the Midnight Suns possibly making an appearance in the MCU. And I believe that that book was polybagged, maybe, and if it was, I clearly took it out of the polybag before sending it in. This is a book that I've covered extensively on my most submitted books into CGC video that I do, where I get the data directly from CGC. This is one that has been on the list consistently week after week after week. It is Amazing Spider-Man issue number 55, the amazing Patrick Gleason cover right there. Came back 9.8 with white pages, and I knew that that one was going to be a 9.8, to be honest with you, when I sent it in. Next up, we have another one of those Batman books, Batman issue 408, and this one too is a 9.6. So I'm guessing that that was probably what the threshold was 9.6. Here is a really cool book. I was hopeful that this one would come back at a 9.8, but it did not. It did not. It actually came back at a 9.6. This is Static. This is the collector's edition, the first appearance of Static, and this one actually notes here on the label that the poly bag was removed. And I want to say that this one came with maybe a poster inside of the poly bag, I think. And again, came back at a 9.6. Really cool cover right here that was done by Dennis Cowan. He did another version of this that was recently released with the new Static series. So cool book. Definitely pleased with the 9.6, but I will tell you, not quite satisfied. But thankfully, as I glanced down, this one did come back at a high grade. It came back at a 9.8. And I actually looked at the grades of these books before I did this video, probably a week and a half ago, so I don't exactly remember everything. So much so that I did not think that I had a 9.8 of this book and actually went out and bought a 9.8. So now I have 2 copies of the 9.8, and I'll probably keep both 9.8s. The 9.6 will probably be listed on the site to my earlier point. So that's the first stack of books. Let me grab the next stack out of the box that is down here. And this one right off the top is a nice one. This is a 9.8 with white pages here. This is another book that is tied to the Midnight Suns. This is Ghost Rider Volume 2, issue number 28, 9.8 with white pages. And I want to say at least one of these, either this one or 31, is the first appearance of the Midnight Suns. And someone will fact check me on that, but I believe that is correct. So cool book. Here is another copy of it. Also get rid of the cardboard here. And the bag, also a 9.8 right there. White pages. And this one is a cool book. I think I sent a couple. Oh, there's another one. There's another one of those. I might as well show that one. Another Ghost Rider issue number 28, 9.8. Sent in multiple copies of that. Clearly, there may be one more in there. This one is, again, tied to the first Batman book that I showed you. This is Batman issue 368. This is Jason Todd officially becomes the new Robin. This one actually came back at a 9.8. I want to say in the collection I found 55 copies. I think it was 55 copies of this book right there. And I did do a little bit of a cherry pick on what was sent in to CGC to be graded. So I think I sent in a couple of copies of that one. Let me change my stack here a little bit so that things don't fall over. I was definitely thinking a lot about Static when I sent these books in many months ago. I had heard about Milestone actually coming back, and I was excited for that. So I went into the collection, pulled out some really good books from Milestone and sent those in. You've already seen a couple of them. Here is another. This is Static issue number 45. And this one is important because this is actually the last issue of volume 1 of Static. Unfortunately, it came back at a 9.4, but this is a really hard book to find. So even though it's a 9.4, I'm actually quite happy with that. This one is definitely going to be staying in the collection. So definitely pleased about that. This cover here was also done by Mobius. And I want to say Mobius did issue number 45 of Static, and I think he also did issue 50 of Hardware. And again, I'm doing this off of memory, so somebody may have to fact check me. Here is another couple of copies of Batman issue number 368, where Jason Todd becomes Robin. Have a couple of copies of that, so we're not going to show those. We're just going to set those off to the side. I think that's 3 copies so far, 4 copies that have been pulled out. Reach down here and grab another stack of books. And again, 33 books in total that were sent in. And the vast majority of these will be made available on the site. A couple more copies of Batman 368. Again, with 55 copies, I had to put some of them in there. This one's cool. Everybody knows that I love some Darkhawk because it is very much a 90s thing for me. Darkhawk was everywhere. He was crossing over like Spider-Man and the Punisher and Ghost Rider. Those were, and Wolverine, some of the biggest crossover characters. This is Darkhawk issue number 1. Came back at a 9.8, and again, I found a lot of copies of this in the collection. Actually gave away a lot of them as well to members of Patreon and just other people. So a couple of copies of that right there found and sent in, and then again, another copy of Batman 368. So we'll drop those back into there. And then there's another stack. if I don't damage them all trying to grab them. Pull some more out and see what these last couple are. Oh, that's cool. Ooh, that's cool. All right, so here's another Dark Hawk, 9.8 right there. So I think that's 3 Dark Hawk 9.8. This one is cool. This is another cool book. This is, I wish that this one were a 9.8. It is a 9.6 with white pages. This is the first appearance of Static. This is the first issue collector's item. Really cool cover right there. Again, wish it were a 9.8, but 9.6 is all right as well. Set that one over there. Trying to be careful so as to not move the camera too much for you guys. Here's another 9.8 of Dark Hawk issue number 1. Again, I found a lot of those in the collection as well. It's 2 copies. And, oh man, wish that were a 9.8. Oh, here is another copy of the same Static book that I just showed you a second ago. This one came back at a 9.6 with white pages as well. Found a healthy number of the milestone books in the collection. A lot of the number ones and healthy number of the runs that were out there as well that were released by Milestone. So that's basically the end of the slabs. I have another stack of books here that are raw that were returned because I'm guessing there was a 9.6 and above threshold, and these did not reach that threshold. So these are probably at least 9.4 and lower. But again, I'm not sure how many are in there, but we'll dig into that after this video wraps up. So there you have it. That is essentially my most recent CGC unboxing of 33 slabs that were sent in. I think in both cases at a 9.6 and above. Couple of really cool books here. And a lot of people might be wondering why I didn't do 9.8 and above. And the reason might have been that when I looked up the value of these books, the place at which you could actually make money for selling these might have been at the 9.6 and above, which is probably why I set it there. 9.8s are always better, but if you can send it in, get it graded, get it clean press, all that kind of stuff, and still turn a little bit of a profit at a 9.6, then you kind of roll the dice on some of that. Part of it might have also been the Static books I knew weren't going to be 9.8s, but still wanted to have them graded. So I'm not sure what my rationale was, again, because this was so many months ago, I honestly don't remember. But I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, definitely give the video a thumbs up. If you were interested in any of these books, you can probably head over to regiecollects.com/shop, and you can probably find some of these books if they haven't already been picked up. If you need to reach out to me, feel free to do so on Instagram at Reggie Collects. Take care.